Hey there, friend! Welcome back to the Closing Chapters podcast, where every mission has a story. I just happen to keep thinking about it, and it's just expanding more and more and more. And I'm like, you know what? While it is fresh on my brain, I just need to get it out. And the thing that I've been considering or thinking about so much this morning is how much community it takes. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Closing Chapters. I am Brittany Fry, your host, and today I want to just kind of talk from my heart, if I'm being honest. I was thinking about something this morning when I was at church. It's on a Sunday that I'm recording this, and I just happened to keep thinking about it. And it's just expanding more and more and more. And I'm like, you know what? While it is fresh on my brain, I just need to get it out. And the thing that I've been considering or thinking about so much this morning is how much community it takes when you are in the military. What do you mean, Brittany? It takes family, it takes local community, it takes communities from our past. Everything all intertwines. But there is one thing for sure. No matter how big our military is, no matter how many branches, how far spread out they are, our community in the military is honestly very small. No matter where you go, there is going to be someone you find that you hold on to. Someone that passes cross with, like, you cross paths again in the future. There's always just something, and it's like reminders over and over again that this world is so small. And there's another thing that really reigns true, and that is that military take care of military. They have each other's back. And it doesn't matter if it's someone you served with. It doesn't matter if there's a generational gap. It is simply the point that you take care of your own. And a lot of that has just come to fruition in my business lately. And it's such an honor to see all of these different facets of life intertwining from the outside in. And I wanted to share some examples of how family and community are just so greatly related in the military world and in housing in general, and how it kind of does a full circle thing for me. And I have so much to appreciate and cherish and hold on to when I'm working with my military folks. So one of the things that's going on recently in my world is that I have an estate property that I'm working on, and it was a warrant officer in the Army, retired, that has, many moons ago, served way back in the day, but had so much of his history and life still in his home. So when my husband and I went through this house, my husband said, I don't feel comfortable just letting anybody go through this stuff. I want to go through it first. So he did. And he made sure he pulled out anything of honor, anything of importance that he felt he wanted to either dispose of properly or hold on to or donate, like whatever the case may be. He wanted to honor this gentleman and make sure that his legacy lived on. And I think that's really cool. So, full circle moment. Okay, I had the opportunity to listen to a gentleman from an organization at our church speak to us at a mom's group last year, before Easter. And he was telling us how he serves this community and basically is able to take donations and physically go put them in a house for someone in need. And they also do some different things like building beds for children, making sure there's food, snacks, lunches for these children in this particular city when they're at school if they are without. Different things like that. So I called him back in the fall and said, hey, I would really like you all to come through this house and tell me what you can use. We don't want to get rid of anything that you can take and use. And I have the person that the property's been left to, I have their good blessing to do whatever with anything else that is in the property. So we have decided together that we want to make a difference. So he came by a couple weeks ago, looked through the house, and was just like, yes, I would love to be able to use all of this stuff. there's certain pieces that might be too big, may not be able to be feasible for me. And I said, that's fine. If you just come take what you want, then we will do the rest. We will take care of what's left over. Well, last weekend he came. The thing that he did not explain is when he came, he was bringing an army. And like literally an army. And I wish I could have been there. My husband was there to meet him and to help get the furniture out of the house and a lot of other stuff, like any household good item that was in there, clothes, whatever the case may be that they could use, they were able to take and they're going to be able to repurpose in our local community, which is just amazing on its own. What the surprise was is that the army was literally an army. It was literally a group of probably 20 soldiers, active, retired, whatever the case may be, that come together and support this organization in our church and help load up and move all of this furniture whenever there's a donation. One of the gentlemen actually has a local moving company, so sometimes they're able to use his facility or his stuff if it works out, but that's not always the case. So finding spaces for things to go in the interim and until they're being distributed can be very hard. And he told me that up front. So we didn't anticipate that they would be able to take everything right away. But they took a lot right away, which was amazing. And my husband was blown away. He really didn't expect, one, for there to be so many people there supporting the organization and being willing to help, and two, that it was going to be a bunch of military individuals. So it was really cool. And the fact that we were able to bring honor to this veteran was awesome, right? I like to think that if he is watching over us and knows that everything that got left behind in that property is going to a family in need in his community, that he would be absolutely thrilled, and that would mean more to him than anything else in the world versus throwing it away or selling it for $10 or whatever the case may be. So I'm very honored that I had the blessing from the family member that has the estate, and that we were able to do that. And that was just really cool for a full circle moment, right? So that is one example. Another example that I think about is, how often family is involved with military members in these transitions. Because sometimes until we have our community, until we've had some of our own experiences, we still need our family. And I have had several scenarios, and I have one currently, where I have first-time home buyers that really haven't done a lot of big transactions in life, and they have a family member, a mom, an uncle, a dad, grandpa, whoever the case may be, sister, that is the point of contact and honestly involved a lot throughout the process. And I think that's really cool. There's a lot of people that get turned off by that, and it's this is your house, you need to make your decisions, you need to do this for yourself. And sure, they do need to go through the process, and they will, right? The house doesn't get bought without their signature, without their approval, without their money. So they're still involved, but sometimes it just takes the stress off of their plate when they know somebody else that they trust is working with them or beside them or helping them, right? So for instance, I have a client coming in soon that is in the middle of training, right? So he's away at a training. He's going to be coming here, wants to buy his first property. Mom is very savvy at buying properties and has a portfolio and knows the reality of using a VA loan to build a portfolio, which I love and support 100%. So Mom and I are in contact right now. Mom and I are doing the grunt work. We are finding the potential properties and kind of narrowing it down. Is Mom talking to son and approving the properties with him? Absolutely. But she knows his schedule. She knows his cadence and when he has availability to do that. And adding me into the picture right now into his world just complicates things. So I think it's really cool that I have this opportunity to, one, impress Mom, because then she knows her son is in good hands, right? And two, just know that he has a support system and that I get to be a part of that, right? Mom and I get to work as a team, and then we get to bring him in for the fun part. right? And he's still gonna have to do the paperwork ultimately. He's still gonna have to like know what's going on. But right now, just the beginning stages and steps, it's really cool that we get to help make sure things are still happening for him while he does not have the capacity to really be have his hands in the middle of it right this second. But I've also had scenarios where, you know, it's just like, my mom used to be a realtor many moons ago, and she wants to make sure that I'm doing things the right way. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Mom needs to be on the phone when we're having a conversation, right? And I've done that before, and I've shared that with you guys before in the past, where I was on a conversation and we were talking through everything, and we kind of were like, everything seemed good. And the last thing I said is, Mom, are we okay? Is there any other questions? And the mom like laughed, you know, like nervously. And I was like, no, I'm serious. Like, if you're here, you're a part of this, then what you think, say, or do, right, is very important. So like, you need to feel just as good about this as they do. Because I'm not getting off the phone just to have an issue, right? Like, I want to make sure everyone is well taken care of and that everybody feels comfortable and good in this space. So I think that's really wonderful when people do have someone that is involved and helpful and wants to be a part of it. I believe, though, that the missing puzzle piece is we don't need secret people involved. Like, if someone's involved, then they need to be a part of every part of it, right? Like, so if we're on a conversation, they need to be on that conversation because they need to hear what I am saying, and then I need to hear what they are saying. That way we're not playing telephone and mix matching what is truly going on or what someone means, or it's not being explained well, and then we create a stressful situation, okay? So all to say, I think it's great when family's involved. I don't have a problem with that. And I have had the scenario too where it's like, okay, I thought I wanted family involved. They came along and it was kind of a train wreck, and it was like an immediate, I will never do that again. And they honestly just needed that boost of clarity that they could handle it, right? So there's two very different spectrums with that, and I am fine to let it play out and figure out where we lie. And I think that it's really important that as a real estate professional, that I give that permission and capability to my clients and not say, no, this is your property, I will communicate with you only, like, you need to figure this out for yourself. Because I think that insinuates that I want them to be cutting off other people and that I'm supposed to be their umbilical cord, right? Like, I'm supposed to be the thing that's keeping them alive. And as much as I want to like know that they trust me, a lot of these people have known me for a minute, you know, like they can place trust in me, but this is a huge transaction. And if there is a solid foundation behind them, someone that they truly have grown up with, they trust, you know, that is involved in their world, then my job is to honor that, point blank, right? So realtors, if you're listening to this and you've ever given anybody a hard time because mom, dad, uncle, sister, brother is involved in some way, let it go. Invite them in to the process. And I promise you, more times than not, it's an initial conversation. And then once they feel good, they don't really want to be involved anymore. I mean, I've had some that see it through all the way and some that are like, no, I feel good about this. I think we're okay. And then they kind of let it go. But that's our job, is to be a trusted advisor to anybody that is involved in this situation. Okay. So another really cool way that I think community intertwines within military and real estate world is literally the idea that we all know somebody that's going somewhere, right? So yesterday I was out showing properties to a gentleman that is coming in from Alaska. I actually have 2 clients coming from Alaska, and we have someone in our Airbnb from Alaska right now. Super cool. It's just like they're coming to the Carolinas. And, you know, it's not like they're getting to choose that. So it's just kind of ironic that that's all playing out that way. But this gentleman that I got to show houses to, lo and behold, was connected to me for my husband because they were deployed together last year. So they weren't in a unit together. They met overseas. They worked together there, supporting 2 separate units and coming together as one, and kept in touch with each other. And then now I get the pleasure of helping him. So it's kind of a really cool full circle moment, right? Like, He gets to tell me some of the experiences of, what it was like working with my husband and what they did when they were overseas. And honestly, it was really neat for him to explain some other things to me that he's very well articulated in. And it's really cool too that like I get to do my part, that I get to support him and thank him, for what he's done, and like being like at my husband's, right side, and making sure that he was safe and sound and had a good experience with his deployment. So like, it's really cool. But that just goes to show that our community gets so tight knit. Like, we get so personal with the people around us when we get the opportunity. And I really think that is neat. So it's just a reminder that that is why our world is so good when we focus on our community and the relationships and not like the transactions, so to speak, right? I have said for many years, and it's something that I honestly need to work on and have more of a balance with, but I have a crutch where I can only do like one thing well, right? So if I have a business hat on and my business hat says I want to do X amount of transactions and make X amount of money this year, then I feel like everything I'm walking into, I'm talking about it as if it's only a transaction. And it's not. It's a human, it's a family, it's a house, it's a huge transaction with a lot of money involved. It's a relationship, okay? And I'm a trusted advisor. I am not here to do a transaction, right? I am not in a store where I want people to come buy 50 products from me. I am in a business where I want to flourish my relationships and take care of people and know that there's going to be a good outcome. And that can be a hindrance because I really don't do a great job of keeping the business side in check, where it's like actually having hard goals or controlling my money, because I am not focused on my money. And then the other side of that is that I honestly just feel good that I am not worried about how much money I make, that I truly feel focused on if I just do the right things, the rest will come. If I just stay focused on my people, if I just make sure that they have a community and that I have a community, then the world's going to go around, right? And I'm going to be okay. And my pride lies on the fact that I get to honor these people and take care of them to the best of my ability. But all in all, I just wanted to share kind of some of my random thoughts that were floating around in my head about how community and military and real estate honestly are so intertwined and tight knit. And I think it's just mind blowing, that we can be worlds apart sometimes and yet only 2 degrees of separation from one another. So just a reminder that it is always worth it to include those around you to the best of your ability, and to have an open mind with your business, to include your community, your family when you can, to support one another when you have an opportunity, all of the above. And I am simply honored that I get to be a part of the journey, a chapter in the book for so many military veterans, families, lives along the journey. So thank you for that honor. Thank you for your trust, and know that I do not take it lightheartedly, and that I truly believe that this is where I'm supposed to be, because I am so passionate and so driven to make sure that my military folks are educated and empowered so that they can make educated, strong decisions that they're confident in, and to learn something so that they know the next time that they go through this process and do another transaction or go through another transition, that they are going to be one step ahead of where they were last time. So that is my TED Talk for today, and I hope that you all will join me again next week for another great transaction that we're going to hash out, and I will talk to you very soon, my friends. Hey, I just wanted to say thank you for being here. and listening in on this episode of Closing Chapters with me. I truly enjoy putting this content together, and I hope that you enjoy it too. If so, could you like, subscribe, and share this episode with somebody you know that will enjoy it just as much as you did? Thank you so much.